Yes, people. Welcome back to Let's Talk Everything. I'm your guy. Welcome. This is the underground of YouTube. I would say. I think there's a little genre of underground YouTube channels that I think are just low key, but they're very insightful. One day I might have to share, which little people that I'm listening to in the space of underground YouTube. But anyways, I digress. Yes, welcome back to Let's Talk Everything. I'm your guy. Welcome. I am a guy that talks about my journey as a psychotherapist, bits of my personal life, film reviews, football, all the shit bang in it. You feel me? So don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. So, yes, you can see by the title, your boy's got a job. 3 months of unemployment. Finally, we've got a job, and we thank God because, boy, I'm telling you guys, it was slowly getting tough, and I think this video is here is for me to sort of I think it's more for me sitting down and just having some sort of reflection time, sharing some bits that I don't mind sharing to be on an online space. So I think some of the things that I'm talking about is more or less the themes. It says that the idea of what does it look like to be unemployed, especially when you just moved into a new home, you just had your third kid, you have a newborn, you're adjusting to so many changes as well. Kids started a new school and so forth, and of course, like what is that I started this channel about, talking about my journey as a psychotherapist, is that the fact that I'm in my last year. I'm in my last year. I'm seeing a plethora of clients as well. I'm getting client hours. I'm doing supervision, but at the same time, like how do you sort of balance that when you've got something that I felt that being in unemployment, as much as if it wasn't for the right people around me and just even myself, even this line of profession of work has also helped me as well. Even though it's heavy hitting when you're dealing with clients and the themes that they bring into the therapy space, yet again, you still bring a lot of yourself in that, and there's a lot of holding that you have to do for yourself to make sure that you give space and time to allow clients to come and share, what they want to share in the therapy space. So I think in this today's video, I will try to keep this short and brief as well, but just kind of sharing my sort of insight into the idea of what it looked like for me being unemployed, but now obviously getting a job. So for me, just quickly, job wise, I won't say what it is. I think later down the line, I'll say what it is. But it's a famous place, like you know what I'm saying. But they had a fast turnover, so I already had two jobs kind of lined up there. But then I thought to myself, I saw some people with their uniform on. I said, oh, you know what, I might apply. So I applied. I think last week Monday, got an interview for Wednesday, had the interview on Wednesday, got the job on Wednesday, and on Friday, um, yeah, like I went for some sort of like training. Do you know what I'm saying? Today, even today as well, I went in to do some training as well, just making sure that all my details and bank details. What? Let me tell you something, people. To put my bank details, to put my bank details into something that I know that I'm getting paid, guys, we already can thank God. I'm telling you guys, I don't mind sharing. I haven't been paid like that for a minute. For a minute, I was unemployed. I mean, was hey scrambling. That's just the hustle and bustle, making ends meet. Obviously leaning for support and stuff like that, which I'm utterly grateful. And like I said, I wouldn't be here in this position if I wasn't talking about the fact that I had great support. And I'll also explain just a little bit of what that support looked like for myself and the people around. But boy, I'm telling you, just to put in my details today, just knowing that I'm getting paid, oh man. And do you know what? It's for the little things. I'm a father of three. Obviously, back in the days, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna buy shoes. And you're not in that. You're not in that thing. Like right now, I have on my whiteboard to get some golden charts for my boys. You know what I mean? Come September, boys. Casper's going to year two. Kamari's, starting was it reception. So I want to get like a golden chart that we can do at home. You do some chores. You can get some stickers and stuff like that and get a prize at the end of the week. Something like that. Something like, you know what I mean? Just something like that. And a little for myself. Actually, I will say, mention here, go and watch Spider-Man. Spider-Man Brand New Day was out. I've seen it twice already. So I will give my review after this. I'd rather upload this first. This is more of a reflective. Then I'll drop the Spider-Man sort of review. I am potentially watching it the third time as well. But I think I might do my review after, well, sometime before I watch the third one. So I've seen it twice. I have some thoughts and feelings, but yeah, stay tuned. So if you don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on if you want to get alerts from my channel. This YouTube thing is hilarious. But anyways, yeah. So I digress. So yeah, I'm in this position where I'm really happy that that's happened. I've got my cap there. I've got my little apron there. It's fast food. Do you know what I'm saying? And the energy that I'm bringing to it, I think is much more important. Is my intentions. Like you always want to have the right intentions. I do believe that, throughout this time as well, it's been my faith that I'm not would say I'm a very religious man like that. Obviously, I believe in the Almighty. We praise the Lord. But at the same time, I wouldn't say I'm so heavily religious. But at the same time, keeping my faith and having my sort of understanding of faith has kept me really in a position where I can keep sane because it's close. It's very sort of fine margins because I was getting to a position where, and this is something that I don't mind sharing, where I've been speaking a lot in supervision, where it's like how do oneself protect themselves when they're doing this line of work. Like this line of work is very heavy. I deal with clients that brings up themes that you really have to be attentive. You have to be very much in tune. You have to be very much holding yourself as well, so you can allow that to be presented in the therapy space. And it's weird because when I'm in the therapy space, I can do the work. What I mean, I'm happy to do the work, but I realize outside of my work in the therapy space, supervision and stuff like that, I was falling short. And a lot of the times where it's like I had to sit down with my supervisors and have honest conversations about them and about it as well, because for me, I was realizing that I don't have a structure, and because I don't have a structure, and it was also I didn't mind having the structure at home, but then after when you've done it so many times, when you know that okay, also you're not getting paid, you get paid in very different ways when you're with your kids and stuff like that. It's a very different sort of feeling. I don't know if paid is the right word, but it is a very different sort of exchange that's there that doesn't involve some sort of money. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But at the same time, when it comes to you want to be working, you want to be earning. So as time went by as well for me, the unemployment was really starting to get to me, and I think it didn't look too crazy because at the same time, like I said, I had support, but just being so unbothered to do certain things. Sometimes you can say, okay, you're unemployed, okay, you got this time at home. Of course, I had my newborn, spending time with my newborn, spending time with the kids, and especially because it's been summer holidays, I've been doing lots of activities as well, which, so in my fatherhood respect as well, like, I don't think that really falters in that sort of way. Of course, I've been a bit nippy as well, and Juliet had to tell me as well, okay, you're being too nippy, cool off a bit and stuff like that. I was like, all right, cool, fair enough. But as welcome, someone that, that is someone outside of fatherhood, that, I am a trainee psychotherapist. I see, I see clients that come into the space that want to, that wants support, and I'm in a position where I'm able to facilitate and give that sort of support for that client. And you have to have a sort of the mental strong power to do that, and I think it's done by my supervisors. So a massive shout out to my supervisors, and personal therapy that's there, that is such an aid to make sure that you allow yourself to have these moments where you can understand, okay, this is what you're going through. And it doesn't mean that you fall short in terms of, okay, everything must collapse as well. But at the same time, it does feel heavy. But then what if something feels heavy? How do we sort of release that? How do we, release that in a positive way? How do we exchange with that? So, once you give out, you get something back in return. So, like I said, I got supervision today. So, going to supervision has been very much important to me. And I've been speaking a lot in supervision about how, us clients, us therapists looks after ourselves, you know what I mean? Especially when things are going on in our personal lives. So, and I think the biggest thing as well, it's not so much, oh, you changed, or like, I say that I had bad habits or anything like that. Like I was very much in my habits, but my habits started to fall short because, like, for example, exercise in the morning, runs and stuff like that. That for me felt short. You know what I mean? Just looking after myself as well. So it's not sleeping right. Obviously, when you have a routine, when you're going to work, hey, you gotta wake up, go to work. I really like that element as well. Um, having a routine allowed me to be the early bird. But then I was waking up early, and I'm just sitting there. And it's just me and my thoughts. And I think sometimes as well, I think I don't want to generalize so much, but I'm going to say it. But I would say for us men, I think there's something noble of act of service. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, this version of act of service, not saying that women don't do act of service as well, but I'm just highlighting maybe a difference where it's very practical. You go out and do the work. Someone like me didn't really believe, like, I didn't really see that. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, my dad, obviously, and I saw some fathers really went to work and so forth as well. But for me, it was such a big chore to really change that, because obviously I looked at a job as a job and I always thought I can wing it. But then sometimes I realized when I was winging it, sometimes I got fired, or you know, that I had to be let go. So I was like, okay, that can't work as well, especially when you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your family. So of course you go through that trajectory of of maturity. So I've got to that point, and at a point where it came crashing as well, to a point where, okay, I don't have a job. So I'm sitting there with me, my thoughts. How much do I share to myself? How much do I share to others? How much do I do that? So, you know, the fatherhood thing, I would always say has been a massive protection. That fatherhood, like me being in fatherhood as well, and my kids has always been a protection of mine. But then I always say to, I used to say to Julieta, don't lose yourself in motherhood, and it's the same for fathers. Don't lose yourself in fatherhood, and I think you have to find some sort of good, I wouldn't say balance, but I think a good way of managing, and you know, sort of exchanging and pulling in, well, push and pull in terms of, okay, what you can give and you know, what you can have for yourself as well. So you manage really well, not to sort of balance it, because it's hard to balance it all. So I think my fatherhood has been a massive protection for me, and I'm able to sit in that role very comfortably, and I'm very comfortable in my fatherhood as well. Even there's, you know, I'm still learning, the father that I am. But when it came to this job, and looking for jobs and stuff like that, that was really degrading, because I wasn't even getting interviews. I've been applying for jobs since since January. You know what I mean? Me as a one-to-one TA, I knew that I was trying to leave that, because you know, during the summer holidays you don't work, you don't get paid. So I was obviously trying to move away from there, looking for these agencies and stuff like that. And obviously I'm studying, I'm doing my placement as well. So you know, I had to juggle that as well. And you know, most jobs are saying, if you can't, you know, hospitality, there are jobs in hospitality, but they want you to, you know, if you're on Saturday, you need to be available. I can't give you my Saturdays, I can't give you my Fridays. For example, my Fridays are my placement days. These are my hours. And remember, guys, as well, I don't mind sharing, is that I don't get paid for my placement hours that I do. I don't get paid for that at all. All of the work that I do as a trainee psychotherapist is all voluntary work. I do not get paid at all. So, and I don't think that's a bad. Well, I don't know. It's that's a whole other sort of subject as well. You know, should one get paid as well, or some sort of payment? That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, but once you're unemployed as well, like I think it does sort of filter out, because when my admin work as well with my clients, I'm writing down notes, starts to feel short. It's like, okay, what's going on? It's like that I'm bothered. It's like I'm bothered to do this and that. That was crazy for me. Where I think this unbotheredness to do the things that you really sort of love and enjoy, because the weight of not finding a job, the fact that it's so degrading, you're applying for jobs, you're not getting something back. So it's like, and you ask yourself, what's the point? So you get into those sort of moments as well, and then of course, like I said, Julieta, my missus, my mum, you know, family and friends that have been very supportive. I've spoken to a lot, especially my fatherhood community has blossomed so much as well, especially when my boys started school as well. So you know, being a community with a lot of fathers, they brought a lot of my brethren as well. Were speaking about a time they were unemployed and so forth. I remember even consoling one of my friends when he was unemployed as well, and it was just a great sort of reflection to look back as well, how the roles are reversed. He's consoling me, you know, about this unemployment, and to know that he was actually, you know, he made it out, not made it out, sorry, but he, you know, he managed to pattern everything out, and boom, you know, he's good as well. So it's like, okay, yeah, you bide your time as well. So on a positivity trajectory as well, my intentions is important, because I'm going to this job as, I'm here to work, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I have that spark, I have that feeling to be like, yeah, this is the job. I ain't gonna disrespect it. I ain't gonna cuss it. I ain't moaning about it. Even my missus, like, bro, I had an interview on the same day I was meant to watch Spider-Man Brand New Day. I was panicking, guys. They said an interview for Wednesday, and brand new Spider-Man came out on Wednesday. Me and my boys already booked the tickets, right? So I was looking at the times for the interview. They're saying 5:30, bro. The screening's at 5:30. I said, fuck. I said, guys, what am I doing? What am I going to do? I said to Julia, what am I going to do? So I'm trying to call them up. I'm trying to say, like, listen, is there any way I can go, you know, change it? I go, imagine now, I go to the place, man says it's getting refurbished. I said, what? How can you have a job application for a job, and man said the place is getting refurbished? Luckily, there's another little franchise around the spot as well. So they said, yeah, the interview was at that place. So I got there. I went there on a Tuesday. So I said, so remember, I applied for on Monday. I got an interview for Wednesday. So I booked. So because I couldn't book 5:30 because the slots were gone, because I was just dilly and dallying. I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I'm saying to my boys, I'm not missing Spider Man. There was no way I was missing Spider. I was not trying to see Spider Man the next day. I was not trying to do that. So therefore, I was like, all right, cool. Let me see if I could go on Tuesday. So I went on Tuesday. I said to bro, yeah, can I do the interview? Because I got a text on that Tuesday saying, hey, we can do your interview today. I said, bet. All right, cool. So I get there now. Store manager's like, oh, I think there's a mistake because I think some sort of AI or said different time zones or something. I don't know. He said something. He said, but we can do it tomorrow. I said, that's fine. But can you do it for 11:15? He said, yeah. I said, cool. Wednesday, 11:15 interview. So went for my interview. What Spider-Man brand new day, got the notification, congratulations, we're excited to put you on board. Ah, god damn. We're back, baby. We're so back. Do you know what I'm saying? So, bro, I'm giddy. So the intentions are, it's a job, respect the job, the hustle's the hustle. And guys, I've been listening to Larry June recently. If you guys don't know, you should know who Larry June is. This is, there's a song called Better Decisions. I'm telling you, ooh, better decisions. Oh, no. Because I don't want to edit and I just want to do free from, I'm just going to put it there, right? I'm just going to put it there. But don't laugh at me, but you can. But just know about Larry June. It gives me like, he's just a cool guy, man. I just saw a documentary done with The Alchemist as well when they was just doing his album and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I'm still locked in. I just recently jumped on Larry June, so I'm on that wave. I said oranges, numbers, hey. Okay. If you know, you know. But anyways, so I've been listening to that. Some calm melodies. He can rap. It's giving me a time when I remember I was hustling and not hustling. What does that mean? But anyways, I was just working. I was listening to Nipsey Hussle. I got introduced to Nipsey Hussle. And I felt just that work ethic, you got to grind it out and stuff like that, bro. The life is life. And it's interesting. I think I might talk about in another video. It's just purpose, in it. What happens when a man doesn't have purpose? Because as much as I'm speaking about myself, they say that there's no jobs. They say that people are not getting jobs. I still came across the fact that, applying for jobs and you're not getting heard back at all. Is it NEETs? That's what they call them. Not in education, not in employment, not in training. So apparently the numbers are crazy. We just got a new Prime Minister, Andy Berman, as well. So what is he doing for the state for young people and for people that are looking for jobs as well? So, I went on to this course as well just to for this Gatwick job. And, there were people from all different ages that were looking for jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, I'm doing my education. I've got my, psychotherapy that I'm doing, that I'm, that's where I'm going to. That's a purpose, and I'm happy, and I'm happy with that purpose, and it's doing me well, even in the times where, I was at a rocky ship, but now it seems to be steady. But what happens when the people are looking for a job and their life circumstances are unsteady? So what is the support like? So I know they say universal credit and all of that, or you get a works coach and stuff like that. But then at the same time, what's crazy, I've noticed that people that have jobs is who you know. So it's like if you ask someone, so I got a job here, I got a job there, I got a job there. Like, it's who you know. So, I had the opportunity to work with someone there that I knew didn't materialize, cool, whatever, but that was because somebody that I knew. But it seems that there are jobs out there. People are working. So I'm always asking, how are you getting these jobs? It's an interesting one. But anyways, that's me, people. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, it's just underground YouTube, free from. This is just, sharing a bit of my reflective sort of side. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, man. Take care.